Hello everyone, this is Sajid and welcome to my first video in which we will be exploring how to take input from the user. And in order to do the steps of this exercise, what you have to do, you have to download Visual Studio community version because it's free, and in order to perform and get your hands on few topics, this is the easiest tool. You can also download enterprise or ultimate version of Visual Studio, but this one tool, the community version, is the best version. So in this tutorial, what we will be doing, we will be exploring our first topic of table of contents, and that is taking user input in the console application. So the first step which we will do is to open up a new project. We have to create a new project. And with our requirements, we have to select the console application .NET Framework, name it as test application. You can select whatever location you want to select, and solution name will be this. Make sure that the .NET framework which is installed on your system is matching with the framework which is available in this drop down. So I will be selecting the target .NET framework will be 4.6.1. So let's create OK. So it's gonna take some time, not more than that, 5 seconds or 6 seconds. So let's give it some time and then we will start with our project. Okay, so here we are. This is once you create any .NET application, these are some built-in system libraries. For instance, you can see these namespaces using system collection generics and system.txt. These are all namespaces, built-in namespaces. Once you create any project, it's automatically loaded. The first is the namespace which we have mentioned. I will give you an overview of what are namespaces and classes. Basically, the namespace is the top hierarchy under which the class and objects comes under. So the first program we have is its name is namespace test application, and this is the method which is static void main string arguments. Remember that whenever you compile your application, the first and the foremost method which runs, which the compiler compiles, and when it's run the CLR, the command line runtime, the first method it reads is this method. No matter whatever code you write, the first method will which the CLR will read will be this method. This is the starting point of your application in which this method is readed. And after that, whatever line of code you write under it, then it will fall in this. So our activity for this is to take any user input and display it on the console window. So there are different type of classes in .NET Framework which Visual Studio IDE provides us. So the first thing which we have to do is we have to take a user input and store it in a variable. As the name suggests, variable is it means that anything which variates, which means it's not constant. There is another terminology called constant, which is a fixed value, and in variable it variates. So let's declare, for instance, if we want to store a username, what we will do, we will declare a variable named string, and let's name it as user name. Once we are done with that, what we have to do, you can see there is a green line under this, and it states that variable is declared but never used. No need to worry about that. Just ignore it because the compiler is telling you that it should be used because you haven't used it. That's why it's showing this. We will be using in our next line of code. So the next step is we have to ask the user that please tell us your name. So in order to ask that, what we will be doing, we will be doing with writing the message on the console window. So in order to display anything on the console window, there is a command known as console and the dot notation. When you see, there are multiple methods in this uh, console method, and a hierarchy of methods under this method. And these are all methods which you can use uh, with respect to this console command. And the best way and the only way to display a message on the console window is by writing console.writeLine. Okay, there is a difference between console.writeLine and write. When you select writeLine, your message will be displayed on the console window, and after that the cursor will skip to the next line, and over there you can type your text. But if you select the write option, your message will be the input which you will type will be on the same line as the question is on. So we will be selecting the console.writeLine option. Once we are done with that, we will open up the braces. Since console.writeLine takes string parameters, so it's necessary that we wrap our text in double quotations, and we will write, please enter your name. Most important thing, semicolon. If you forget to write the semicolon, the compiler will give you an error, that syntax error. So there are basically two types of errors. Just give me. So basically, there are two types of errors. One is called the syntax error, and the other one is called the semantic error. In syntax error, uh, usually it means that the statement which you have written, the code is it contains grammatical error, or some colon is missing, or the structure is different, or a dot is missing, or double quotation is missing. But in semantic error, it means that the code which you are the logic which you are trying to implement does not meet the code which you are writing. It's more of a meaningful approach rather than without meaning. So we have displayed this command to display to the user. So once he gets this information, what he will do, he will type it. And in order to get that information, there is another method of the console method, static method. And that is, before we go over that, what we have to do, we have to store the information which customer will or the end user will write into a variable. Which variable? This variable, the username. So what we will do, we will simply write username with the equal to sign, and after that we will write console dot read line. See, there are multiple methods, properties, and of read line and read key and read. The difference between the read line and the read is similar to the difference between the write and the write line. So what we will be doing, we will be selecting the read line option, and this with a semicolon. So up till now, we have successfully got the information which user have written on the console window. What we have to do now is to display the username on the console window again. But what we can do, we can, when we want to display the variable on the console window, we use a plus operator, and I'm going to show you how you will do it. So we have to tell the user that this is your name. For instance, we will be writing console.writeLine. Your name is double colon and plus sign, and what's the variable name? Username and semicolon. So once we have to display the value of a variable, we use this plus operator. So we are done with getting information, displaying the user information on the console. Now we have what we have to do. We have to build this solution. Once we are done with the building part, we will then run this application to test what whether this code runs successfully or not. So one more thing, what happens will is that once you run this application, your console window will be automatically closed, displaying your desired output. In order to make the console window stop, what you will do is type console.read line. So unless and until you type any key, or you can also type console.read key. So once you press enter, then your console window will disappear. So make sure that you, in order to view the information which is on the console window, you write this console.read line. So we are going to uh, start this application. Okay, here we are. Please enter your name. My name is Sajid. Press enter. See, your name is, and the value of the variable which we specified in our previous question is displayed easily. We have to close this console window, press enter. That's simple. So this was it from learning how to take input from the user. In our next video, we will be uh, going into more detail about what are data types and what are the different data types in programming in C#. Stay tuned for my next video, and please feel free to contact me if you have any questions. Thank you.